everyone, I am Christine Gritmon, and I am here, as I am every Friday, with Let's Talk About Brand, where guess what we talk about, you guys? Brand. I wanted to remind everyone, by the way, that you can get your very own Let's Talk About Brand merchandise, such as this glorious mug, t-shirts, stickers, whatever you like. Give us a shout out in the comments. Let us know if you're watching. Let us know if you're a replay viewer or if you are here with us today live. And if you are here with us today live, you will have the opportunity to win this week's prize. But first, I'm going to tell you a little bit about this week's guest. So this week's guest is Mel Bridger. She's awesome. She's joining us all the way from the UK. Mel and I actually met while speaking at an event in London a couple of years ago. And Mel is really cool. Mel is a personal trainer, but she has not one, not two, but three separate fitness brands going on, you guys. We're going to talk about all of them, but she is basically a partnership, a personal brand, and a franchise. That's what we mean by branding something bigger than yourself today. We're talking about branding something that other people then want to take the ball and run with it. So we are going to talk all about that today. But first, let me tell you about the wonderful prize that our live viewers can get. As I mentioned, Mel and I met speaking at an event in London. And that event was Digital Women. Digital Women has now expanded into a whole membership community. It's amazing. Even the totally free Facebook group is amazing. And so today, live viewers will have the opportunity to win a year's worth of Digital Women membership, along with a beautiful actual physical book, 2021 Social Media Planner, which was created and designed by Digital Women founder Lucy Hall. And you can win that, live viewers only, you can win that by typing plan in the comments because it's a planner, get it? So without any further ado, I am going to bring on this week's amazing guest, Ms. Mel Bridger. Hey, Mel.
Hey, Christine. How are you? Hey, everyone.
Hey, Mel. So good to see you. How are you doing there in the newly re-lockdowned England?
You know, for me, it's not that much different, to be honest, other than there are shops that I can't go in and browse in anymore. It's all essential shops now. But yeah, it's not too bad. It's not too bad.
Yeah, you're making do, and you are, of course, bringing fitness to the people online. So we are going to dive right in because there's a lot to talk about today. You have 3 brands, girl. 3.
Yes, I do. I've been
So let's kind of talk about in order how each of those brands sort of came to be. So the first one you said chronologically was Cardio Central.
That's correct. So, oh my God, I'm going to try and cram this.
Actually, you know what? Let's take a step back first. I'm curious if at the beginning of your personal training journey, if you actually worked for somebody else at the beginning, or if you always went out and just kind of put out your own brand.
No, I was always solo. So I used to be a professional dancer and run dance events with my husband. And then when I had my children, I moved fully into fitness. And so I'd already had the experience of being an entrepreneur. And so it made sense for me to continue that vein with the fitness industry. So if you want me to talk about Cardio Central.
Yes, tell us about Cardio Central.
Okay. I actually rebranded. So I started, it's all about branding. I started off with an organization called Zumba Central because I started off as a Zumba instructor. Or Zumba, is that how you say it in the States?
It is.
And so then I decided that I wanted to progress and get better at what I do. I found a real passion and a real love for the fitness industry. So I went down the qualification route and decided to rebrand because I then taught more than one type of class. So Zumba Central kind of didn't fit anymore. So because what I did was predominantly cardio based and it was a lot of fun, it made sense to change the Zumba to cardio. So I rebranded, and at that point I had several instructors working for me because Zumba became very, very big here. And so I trained up former students to become part of my team.
At what point did you realize that it was time for you to do that? That it was time for you, rather than it being you, to actually train some of your students? By the way, that's a great point there, that you initially drew from your audience to expand.
100%. So 2 main reasons. One, I couldn't handle the amount of students that we had coming through the door because I was one of the first to launch in my area. And so it became extremely busy very quickly. Two, I found out I was pregnant with my daughter and I wanted my business to continue. And so I trained up 2 students in advance of me going on maternity leave so they could take over from me whilst I went off to have my daughter. So that was the main reason for forming the team.
That is a great story. So then at some point you created your own personal brand, the Mummy Trainer. So yes. I would like to hear how you made the decision to go that route rather than just making it an extension of Cardio Central or something like that. And also how you differentiated between the two. So why there are two and how you differentiated.
Okay, so when I was pregnant with my daughter, I was looking for fitness activities that would help me as I got later on through my pregnancy and then as I had her afterwards in recovery. And there was nothing in my area. So I decided that I would train not only to be a personal trainer, but also to specialise in pre and postnatal fitness. So that's one of the things that I'm known for in the fitness industry. Then I realised that there was a distinct gap in the market for a female personal trainer. And I'm a mum, so the Mummy Trainer kind of felt natural to bring together as a brand. And it started off predominantly as a blog, really. And then personal training came a little bit later, and then it just exploded.
How did it explode? What was one of those kind of tipping point moments where you're like, whoa, this little side project has really become a thing?
I started to get noticed a lot more. So I've got quite a big following in the fitness industry, and I became more interested in social and digital marketing, which is how we met, and started to make a name for myself in both arenas. And so I thought I must be onto something here. And I used my email address, info@themummytrainer, to start to share my contact details with people in the digital marketing arena. And then the name just stuck. So it actually came more from the digital marketing aspect. Everybody started to call me the Mummy Trainer. And then as I learned more about personal branding, I realized I had to be consistent across all of my platforms. So then it exploded as more people became aware of who I was.
I love that. So now you had Cardio Central.
Yes.
Then you were the Mummy Trainer. You had your own thing going there.
Yes.
Then you did a third thing, a third darn thing, a third brand. You decided to create Beats Fitness. Now, how did you decide that, first of all, how did you decide to create a new thing as opposed to just incorporating it under Cardio Central or the Mummy Trainer? And tell us a little bit about how that brand is different and how you decided to make it something altogether different, which is a franchise.
It was my husband's fault. It was my husband's fault. So Cardio Central was a fitness organisation. We looked after students. That's predominantly what it was. And that's my team. And I still have a team now, albeit a little bit smaller. The Mummy Trainer came around as personal development, and then more people got to know me. And I started to work for other fitness brands. So we helped other fitness brands develop and build and grow their platform and their audience. And my husband turned around to me one day and said, "Isn't it about time you stopped working for other people's brands and created your own?" Because I had such a dynamic following in the fitness industry. And
well, that's just the fascinating part to me, because you already had 2 brands that were your own.
I know. It's a bit crazy. So the main difference with Beats Fitness is that it's not for students, it's for other instructors. So it's for other instructors to come and train to then go out into the world and deliver our program. So that's why we call it a fitness franchise. So they train with us, and we develop them not only how to deliver the program, but we teach them about all aspects of fitness marketing and everything else to help their business grow. And as they became more successful, we became more successful. So I decided to move from working for other people and be able to bring my own ideas to the forefront without having to have somebody there telling me, yes, you can do that, or no, you can't. And as you know, I'm not very good at being told what to do, Christine.
No. You tell other people what to do and they pay you for it.
Absolutely.
So I would love to hear, so you are actively maintaining all 3 of these different fitness pieces of your empire. I would love to hear how you sort of what the brand essence is of each of them, because it's clear that they are pretty different. In telling your story, you've made it clear why they are 3. So how do you define each of them?
So Cardio Essential is very much community. It's local. So it's, although it was local before lockdown, now I have people from all over the country that collectively attend my classes online. So it was all about community, inspiring predominantly other women and getting people that wouldn't necessarily be active. The Mummy Trainer was about working with other mums, similar experience to me, intimidated by the gym, would be scared to go and work with a male personal trainer for whatever reason. And I offered a service that was relatable and also that was effective. Beats offered a service that I felt there was a gap in the market. You see, there's a common theme here. It's all about offering a service. There's a gap in the market for my kind of energy and my creativity. But the ethos around all three is community. So whilst all three of them are very, very different, it's all about maintaining that supportive community aspect.
I love that. Someone signed in as me, actually asked a question, but it's not me, which is what's the benefit of having a different brand for training other trainers versus for training students?
Wow, that's a good question. I think it's being able to differentiate what you do, but also the way that I market and grow those brands are very, very different. So the community aspect where it's students, it's a support network. With Beats, it's big, it's going to be exponential. We can spread it to far more people, and the growth aspects is there. It's a completely different audience, and so I can't market both of them or treat both of them the same way. I hope that answers the question.
It does. It does. And I want to remind everybody, by the way, about our awesome giveaway this week. Which way am I pointing? That way, which is 1 whole year of Digital Women membership. Digital Women is an incredible group. Mel and I are both in the wonderful, supportive Facebook group that brings just such a crazy amount of value. And now the new paid membership level is just, she's doing amazing trainings in there. It's just incredible. I'm actually speaking at the Digital Women Digital Growth event in 2 weeks, which members of my email list saw something on today. But in addition to winning a year of Digital Women membership, you can also win the beautiful planner. And there's a couple different cover designs, so they are all gorgeous. I picked this one for the graphic because I like it the best. And all you have to do is live viewers only. Sorry, replay viewers. Tune in next week for next week's prize. But all you have to do is type hashtag plan in the comments. We're going to draw that around 25 after. All right, so moving on, we had a bunch of questions for you, and I want to encourage people to bring in their questions as well. One thing I wanted to know about is a sort of, Jetta Murray wanted to know 3 of your most defining moments from your early career. And it sounds like we could sort of pinpoint those from your story, but at the same time, it's entirely possible that what's a defining moment for you is kind of a different thing. So what are 3 of the defining moments of your earlier career?
So Cardio Central, I'll try and relate them to all 3 brands. When I launched my second Zumba class after only running it for a few months, and there was a queue out of the studio, down the stairs and out of the door, that was mind blowing. The sheer volume of people that wanted to come and do lessons with us, that was huge. With the Mummy Trainer probably being interviewed and named as Summer Hero fitness instructor for a national fitness magazine.
Ooh, Summer Hero. Getting that beach body?
Pretty prolific. That was pretty prolific. And Beats Fitness, not many people know this, but I think it's called Shark Tank in America. We were actually on Dragon's Den.
You were on Dragon's Den?
Yeah.
What?
Very early into our career. So we went and we got right through to meet the dragons. We had them up dancing and everything else. And unfortunately, we didn't get broadcast.
Oh.
Unfortunately, but that was an incredible opportunity. And now speaking in front of people, not a problem.
That is just incredible. Oh my goodness. Trisha would love to know how you manage the implementation of your strategy for different brands. Because you're balancing 3 different messages right now.
This is true. It's about teamwork. You have to have the right team around you to enable you to focus. You can't do it all on your own. So with Cardio Central, I have 2 other ladies that work with me that were both students that helped me to manage that aspect, whether it be supporting the community in the Facebook group or sharing the message out there or teaching classes. With the Mummy Trainer, even though it's a solo business, so it is me, I am my personal brand, I have a VA that I work with that helps to keep me in check. And with Beats Fitness, again, I have a team So I have a team of mentors and master trainers, and my husband does all of the tech stuff in the background. So outsource whenever possible and make sure you have the right people around you.
Absolutely. Oh, that is so smart. Yeah, Trisha's saying she's struggling to manage both of her brands because they're so different. So having three is really huge. And Tim also, we all know Tim. Tim is also struggling with multiple brands himself. I imagine he's got his personal brand and also the publishing outlet. So, how do you keep it all together? Shruti wants to know. It sounds like delegation is a big part of that.
Massively. Even though I'm a self-confessed control freak, I will say that, but I've got strong members of my team that will mention when it's time for me to release, to let go of stuff, taking breaks, making sure that I schedule time in for everything. So personal workouts in addition to work, but also make sure family time as well. I have to be able to balance it. If I don't schedule it in, then it's not going to happen.
Absolutely. That actually brings me to a question that I should have asked a little earlier. And we talked about this a little bit on the chat on Tuesday on Twitter. But what are some of the things when you decided to sort of trust other people with this brand that you were building? Beats was built from the beginning as involving handing it off to other people. So what are some of the considerations you had there? Because it's still your brand. It's still your brand name on the line there. So what are some ways that you make it a strong enough brand and strong enough partners that that brand is still on brand?
I work very, very closely with my team, and I don't like to use the word push, but I can't think of an alternative right now. I push people if I see potential. Mm-hmm. So if I feel that they can be developed or I can give them continuous opportunities to develop, then I do that. And I learned that from my uncle who used to manage a car garage. And he said, if you always look after your team, then you'll never have to worry about your business. So it's instilling that sense of loyalty. And making them feel valued. And I always treat my team as if we're all on the same level, because we are, and everybody's contribution is valuable. So I've never put my front out. I'm not Diana Ross, so it's never been Mel Bridger and the Beats Pro team. And when that's been said about us before, I've actually gone in and asked people to correct it, because I see us as one. And like I say, we're all valuable. And that in itself has helped the brand to grow very quickly.
I love that. That is fantastic. And so you really provide that support to them. How do you choose them to begin with? Do people have to sort of go through an interview process to even enter your program?
I was very, very lucky. So with regards to the pro team, I actually chose people I'd already met. Not necessarily worked with, but people I'd met in the industry. But apart from one person, I'd already trained the other people on my team for the other brands that I'd worked for.
Yeah, just like Cardio Central, you drew from your audience.
Yep. It's not poaching. I didn't poach them from the other brands. No. It was just a format that they taught, and I saw potential in them. So I approached them, told them what I was going to do, and asked them if they wanted to be involved. And everybody I asked jumped at the chance.
That's incredible. And that shows that you built a strong enough brand to begin with, that it was already resonating with people. They already felt some ownership there. How do you think you did that?
I think, and I know that this word's been bandied around a lot over the last couple of years, but I'm authentic. I'm real. So, I mean, you've met me in person a couple of times. Exactly. I'm exactly the same. And I don't try and be anything different, and that carries me in good stead. I've always said the one thing that you have in this industry is your reputation. And so as long as you're honest, you can be honest and you can be polite, and you know you can have morals. You don't have to be ruthless in business. And I've always kept it real, so people know that my bond is my word, for want of a cliche.
Well, you know what? Cliches are a reason, because they happen. Cliches happen, everybody. I would love to hear, again, some more questions from our live viewers. Another question that we have, these two kind of go together, which is that, you've been teaching live classes for so long. Cardio Central was live. Mummy Trainer was live, and a blog, but live. Beats was live. The obvious question is about... two things. I'm putting these together. Kelly asked, beyond the obvious pivot to digital offerings, in what other ways will the fitness industry have to adapt to remain viable in the future? And similarly, Tim just wants to know kind of top tips for how you've taken the fitness experience online.
Well, I'm not going to lie, I cried when I realised that I was going to have to close my physical classes down, because it's more than just a class. It's a community, like I say, for them. And for a lot of my students, it was the only time they got to mingle with other people. So I took what digital knowledge I had and went online, but I went live beforehand. I remember going live quite emotionally and explaining to people the situation that I was in. I was very honest, and that I was going to try and do this online, and the only way that I was going to be able to survive was if they supported me. And then it's just staying in people's the front of people's minds. So I have a private Facebook group. I use email marketing. I'm constantly checking in on people. I know students by name. I know their birthdays. If they've been missing for a couple of weeks, I'll contact them and say, are you okay? And a lot of it was trial and error. Like, if you'd have seen my setup that I had at the beginning in comparison to what I have now, it looks completely different. I started with a webcam and a speaker, and now I have an entire setup on Zoom with a monitor and everything else going on. So it's not being afraid to learn. Don't think that you have to be perfect when you do this. You just have to get out there and get online, and people will understand, and they will forgive the glitches because they know all you're trying to do is your best and continue to support them.
Ah, I love that. I'm going to remind people the last chance to enter our giveaway. Hashtag plan in the comments to win a year of Digital Women membership and a 2021 social media planner. I'm going to turn off the crawl and everything because we've got our fabulous Jen Cole drawing our winner. Trisha says she loves your energy. Your Zumba is great, and it's definitely encouraging her to get off her butt. I got to watch more of your videos because I'm spending a lot of time on my butt. Anyway, we have another question from the chat. Jake wants to know, when did you know it was time to get rid of small thinking and build for bigger success? Because it's one thing to be like, all right, I've got a really impassioned, audience here. It's another thing entirely to say, and maybe they literally work for me.
Wow. Probably a lot of my attitude and energy and drive comes from my mum. So I'm the youngest of 5, and she raised all of us on her own. So my drive and my energy comes from that. She's downstairs right now. I think that I have a good eye for identifying what is next and realizing when it's time to move. And even if I'm scared, which happens a lot, it doesn't stop me. But the main turning point for me was when I had instructors coming into my Zumba class and then going and setting up just down the road from me and undercutting me. And I realized that if I didn't do something quickly, if I didn't diversify, go and retrain, go and take other trainings to support my business, I was going to flatline. And so I had to push myself out of my comfort zone.
Wow, so competition helped there too. You were kind of like, if I don't do it, someone else will.
Yep. And I don't like to lose.
That's incredible. I love that. Champion, mindset of a champion. You're mentioning before, by the way, all the online content you've been creating. Are you creating online content for all 3 brands through this? And are other people creating online content for your brands as well, since they are, extensions?
So I create the content for Cardio Central and for the Mummy Trainer, but I have incredible students. So I will literally create content and put it out there, and my students share it without asking. So they'll just share and tag, and this person, you need to come. So they spread my message. And what's the word? Is it cheerleaders? That's the word I'm looking for. Right. So my students are my cheerleaders. With the Mummy Trainer, it's a little bit easier for me. And I know it hasn't been easy for everybody else, but I had 2 people approach me about personal training. They shared their stories online. Now I have a waiting list. I literally can't fit anybody in.
Wow.
And with Beats, there's myself and a couple of other people, including my husband, that create content. And we schedule quite a lot of content for Facebook and Instagram. So that's how we manage those.
Do you provide your Beats instructors with any sort of guidelines for what they can and cannot create? Is it around specific routines?
So the way that it works is they have a dashboard, so they log in and they have access to all choreography regardless of when they joined, and we have probably about 500 pieces on there, so they have an infinite amount of choreography, and they just pluck it and put it together to put a class together. For those instructors that are creative, we allow them to be creative and create 30% of their own choreo. My husband regularly creates graphics, memes, and content for instructors to literally just download, share the image, and pop their own content underneath. And I go live every few weeks. And if there's any new training out there, so I recently did training on Reels we have a private forum. So I always share the latest things that work for me. So my instructors always tend to be ahead of the game. And that's probably because of the amount of influence I have from people like you.
I love that. So you're not only training them in the choreography and the specific fitness routines, you're also giving them training on how to build their own businesses.
Yeah, because if they're successful, then we're successful.
That's incredible. I love that so much. That's fantastic. Has there been any common thread to the people who have been beats instructors? Do they tend to come from dance backgrounds, or is it really across the gamut?
It's very diverse because what we do is we allow people to come in with little to no fitness training and we provide the training for them. So prior to COVID, we did a very extensive training program in person, and now we turned that into an on-demand program. And then once they come into the forum, they're literally bombarded with training and contents. And I have partnerships with training companies where they give us a discount, and beats instructors are able to upskill with them as well.
I love that. That's fantastic. You really are giving them the tools to succeed. That's trying. Fantastic. As you said, you realize that, if they succeed, you succeed. All right, so it is actually time to draw our winner for today, which is very exciting. As always, our weekly prize, you have 2 opportunities every week to win our weekly prize. In my Tuesday chat about brand on Twitter, we always have a winner. So congratulations to Renika, who won on Tuesday her year membership to Digital Women and her social media planner. And without any further ado, today's winner, I'm really excited about this because she's actually a first-time viewer. She's always on the chat, but this is her first time on the live stream. It's Kelly Kostanowski! Woo!
Well done.
So Kelly, I'm very excited for you. Congratulations. I will be in touch. Actually, if you can DM me your email address and your address, we can get that started. Greg downstairs actually has a late coming question, which is, what's the benefit of having a different brand for... we already answered this one, Greg. The benefit of having a different brand for training other trainers than for training students. I think you already kind of handled that one.
Yeah, I think so.
But Mel, tell us where people can find you.
Okay, so as you mentioned, the Mummy Trainer is one of the brands that I run, and that is me across all platforms. I spend a lot of time on Instagram. I admit I've been on Twitter lately because of news that's happening recently. So spending a lot of time on Twitter, but yeah, I am the Mummy Trainer on every platform.
Yes, you are. And so that is the best place for them to find you. That is of the 3 brands, that's the one that kind of ties it all together. I love that. And Kelly is super excited about winning our glorious prize. Well, thank you so much, Mel, for being on today. You're amazing. I hope everyone checks you out, and hopefully we can all move a little bit in this time of lockdown. Your body doesn't have to be locked down, right?
Absolutely.
Well, fantastic. Thank you so much for being here. You're awesome. Everyone be sure to check Mel out. As I mentioned before, I do this show every single Friday, 12 noon Eastern, 5 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time now. I'd love to hear where you have joined us from today. And a reminder that I also have the Tuesday Twitter chat. So next week we will be talking about creating something uniquely you. So some of us kind of, stay in a sort of predetermined lane, like I have personal branding. That's a thing already. I didn't really invent something. But creating something uniquely you can involve, taking seemingly disparate elements and creating something specifically you with them, just like next week's guest, Gary Ware. So Gary Ware has taken his background in theater and improv training along with corporate training, and he has turned it into breakthrough play, which really helps corporations and all sorts of groups discover the power of play to help create innovation and just really to stand out and have breakthroughs, honestly, with the power of play. So thank you so much for joining me. Again, mark your calendars for noon Eastern time on Tuesdays on Twitter and noon Eastern time on Facebook on Fridays. Thanks for joining me. Bye.